And the March for Life is just a day where we kind of see the pro-life movement on full display, the conversations that are taking place, the advocacy work. But this is also happening in cities and dioceses and towns all across our country. Chris McMahon and his wife founded Mary's Place, Pittsburgh, where mothers are uplifted, where babies are cherished, where God's love makes room for new life. I learned a little bit about this incredible pregnancy center last year at Catholics at the Shore, which, by the way, you can go to this year, 2026 in May. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. But Chris is here first and foremost to tell us a little bit about this pregnancy center and how he and his wife made this a place for moms who need some help. Chris, welcome back to the Katie McGrady Show.
Katie, good morning. Thanks for having me. It's great to talk to you.
Absolutely. I do want to ask you about Catholics at the Shore in a few minutes, but tell us first and foremost, Mary's Place, it's in Pittsburgh. You can go to Castlegate Avenue, and there it is. Tell us a little bit about how this got started and why you guys knew that this was something that was needed in the greater Pittsburgh area.
Katie, thanks so much for shining a light on it. Probably when our kids, Molly and I are, we got to know each other at Catholics at the Shore last year a little bit. When we're a little older, so our kids were getting grown up, and we said, what are we doing with our lives? And we said, what can we do that's important to us? And the both of us said, boy, the pro-life thing is so important. And in our town, there wasn't a Catholic pregnancy resource center. Everyone's trying. There's a Christian one. Catholic Charities does a lot of great stuff supporting women, but there wasn't a place for them to stay. And we thought, we'll never be able to pull this off. That was our first thought, Katie. We'll never be able to pull this off. But what happened was, we Molly and I, like you, are very close to Sisters of Life, and we thought maybe we can get them to come to Pittsburgh. And as you know, they're just in demand everywhere. And that we realized that we wouldn't be able to get them to come to Pittsburgh. And he said, what's the next best thing? Let's give it a shot. And with we prayed about it a little bit, and here we are 7 years later, and it's just so funny. Every mistake that you could be making, we've made. And but our friends have rallied around us. The community's rallied around us. The church has rallied around us. It's been a beautiful thing. And I think we've served 120 women so far that live there, and some get their high school degrees, some, many baptized the children, and they can stay for up to a year after the baby's there. And we're hoping to give them some kind of, good love and support mainly, and hopefully a better model for what's next, because these women are so darn courageous. That's what we keep saying. We want to support them. They're the courageous ones. Everybody's telling them, terminate this pregnancy, abort this, kill this baby, right? Especially today. And they have the courage to say, no, we want to do our best to give them support and a place to live, and and maybe something a little less to worry about for at least a year.
Yeah. I think there's something really quite beautiful, this encouragement that y'all are offering to women that we have a place for you. You're not doing this alone. I love that it was in the veins of, first and foremost, let's try to get the Sisters of Life to move here. I think that should be priority number one, is can we get these convents all over the country? But I love that there's something practical. If somebody's listening to this and thinks, okay, I don't know if I can do this myself, but where would they even begin? How could they maybe reach out to you, or how could they maybe even start to kind of dream about, we can support women in this very tangible way?
That's such a great question. I would say we weren't founder types. We were supporter types. That's what we always did, Katie. Oh, we'll send them a check. We'll go see them. We'll support them. But what I found is when we jumped in the pool and said, we stopped asking the question. Question that's a death to every new charity: is this sustainable? That is the question everybody asks, never to take action, right? So we stopped saying that. We said, we don't care if it's sustainable. If we help one mom, it'll be great, and then we'll sell the house. They can look at absolutely go to marysplace.com, marysplacepgh.com, and we could definitely be in touch with them. That's the great thing about this network of folks. There's so many super helpful people out there in other cities that are doing things. But honestly, Katie, when we start doing it, we've been amazed. You're pulling the rope by yourself for a second, and then within, minutes, there's dozens and dozens of people. I may have told you when we do lawn work and I call my friends and say, could you do lawn work? We'll have 50 people show up. It's amazing how many people want to help or call to this, just looking for the opportunity to jump in. It's exciting.
Well, and you can find a network of people to really kind of dream about this at your incredible event, Catholics at the Shore. Really quickly, tell us about Catholics at the Shore. It takes place in a beautiful resort over in Jersey. You're right on the beach. I got to go last year and host it for you guys, and it was such a fantastic weekend. Tell us a little bit about this year's Catholics at the Shore 2026.
honestly, your presence was so grateful. So we're so appreciative of it. It did so much great help to us, give us energy. But it's been about the 6 years we've been doing this thing now. There's some big conferences out there, I know, on the West Coast, and we said we'd like to bring one to the East Coast. So in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, it's so funny, Katie. I think I told you we picked that hotel by coincidence, and then we realized there was a Marian Grotto there because the guys that own it used to meet as a Catholic maniac too, who I love very much. So we have been doing it at this hotel. This year it's going to be even better, but it's a great opportunity for, adoration, confession, everything the person's looking for, but beautiful mass, but then also the best speakers that are available. This year, Patricia Heaton's coming. We're excited to have her. She's such a dynamo in the Catholic space now. And I think we have one of these, you might remember we have usually every year, we always have somebody who's going to take us on the beach and try to have a fun, I always say fun, light, athletic thing, and I keep stressing light. And we got it a couple of years ago. Sister Pia Jude and Sister and her sister led us in a pickleball tournament. That was probably the easiest one we've done. But it's 3 days, really getting deep in the faith around faith-filled people. And it's a beautiful chance. And also some of these great speakers, somebody like you, frankly, Kay, there's so many people, your fans, they get an opportunity to really spend time with kind of the leaders in the church, and of course the religious leaders are there as well. So it's really a great opportunity for kind of lay and consecrated folks to come together and just have a beautiful 3 days, getting closer to God, and then getting fired up and hopefully going back home and lighting their towns on fire a little bit,
It's so much fun. It's such a great event. If you guys can make it, go CatholicsAtTheShore.com. I have to tell you, the people that I ended up sitting next to pretty much the entire weekend, because of where my spot was as the host, I was hopping up and down. The couple that I sat next to the whole weekend, we ended up meeting Pope Leo together on the same day, like 2 months later. We ran into each other at St. Peter's, and we both had Bacimano handshake tickets. So you never know who you're going to meet at Catholics at the Shore, and then you might get to go meet the Pope together too. Chris McMahon, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about Mary's Place and Catholics at the Shore. We'll post links to both of these over on the Substack today, so you can go. It's May 7th through the 9th, 2026. You can check out Mary's Place, pgh.org, if you want to support them or learn a little bit about what they're doing to help women who are vulnerable.